To our almost certain knowledge, Vedic meditation is the oldest technique still alive in the world today. It is many thousands of years old and predates all known religions by several millennia. This uniquely powerful practice was undoubtedly the catalyst for all of the great advances of the Vedic civilization of ancient North India, whether it be yoga, Ayurveda, mathematics, surgery. And then there are all of the profound ancient insights into physics, quantum mechanics, biology and other scientific branches which we've slowly found ourselves verifying with modern scientific investigation. However, these riches drew envious glances from afar, and the great Indian subcontinent became conquered and governed by foreign invaders over the last 3,000 years, and this knowledge was driven underground. As a result, it was considered wise that these techniques be carefully stored by yogis and masters hidden high up in the Himalayas or in the depths of India's great jungles. That is until India gained its independence and these masters could re-enter society and start teaching once more. Since then, growing numbers of Indians and Westerners, ordinary people like you and me, have been tapping into this very profound knowledge and have been reaping the results of its manifold benefits.
Do we have the opportunity to put a sign outside Poland Street?
You can ask.
Shall I ask Justin?
Yeah, we definitely, yeah, can we put a sign on the building? Can we put an A board on the street?
Okay, now in terms of the G+, we wanted to have 108, yeah. My target numbers. And also the website, just want to make sure that we really like the feeling of it and all that sort of thing. That requires, initially it was difficult. There was, our friends and family weren't into meditation, and then they didn't share the vision and they couldn't see that meditation would change so much. And we risked a lot. We gave up our jobs, we had no other income, we invested all our savings. We literally put everything on the line to make it happen because we knew we could make a difference. And so it took a while for them to sort of to come round and accept that it actually, yeah, it did. And then one by one they started learning, and then one by one they could see that we were, you know, making something that was helping people.
Did they think you were a bit mad?
I think a little bit. They don't worry.
They did, yeah.
They thought we were, yeah, they did think
they thought we were bonkers.
Particularly because we'd been in India for a couple of years, and then we'd come back and like, whoa, we're just going to spend our lives teaching meditation. And that for them was a bit out the box. But they get it now. They do get it. It's very, very interesting. Even our skeptic family members have either learned or they're supportive. And they can see that it makes us happy and it makes other people happy. So they're coming on board.
Go on, Fred. Come on. In we go. This tree had half of its trunk torn down in a storm, and I used to walk here quite a lot, but then when Paul died, I walked around the field quite soon after, and I looked up at the tree and she had just lost half the trunk. And I suddenly resonated with this tree because I sort of felt that's how I felt. I'd lost completely my whole, and she's sort of in the middle of this field. So I've sort of watched her recover and get strong again. And in a way, it's sort of been a really good thing for me to see that it's possible over time you get strong and you grow back into, you know, slightly different shape or whatever being, but you'll be okay. My career, everything really took a sort of back burner, you know, a second, you know, it wasn't something that I could focus on because Paul was actually ill he was diagnosed 10 years before he actually passed away. And there was always that element, I think, the moment you're told that, you know, somebody has what they have, which potentially will you know, it's going to shorten his life. We never quite knew when. But there was always that question mark. So all our decisions were really based on, you know, on him and, you know, the family, the best thing that we could do with the time we had. It was important that I was going to be at home and really focus on the family and looking after Paul. So that was my main focus for, it was a long time, actually.
I grew up in Norfolk, which I loved, and then I joined a band, did the whole rock and roll thing. I came down to London when I was 20, and I've just turned 30, so it's like 10 years down here now. There's this strip, Kingsland Road, and I've always lived with like 5 minutes walk of there. And around London Fields as well, like that. Hackney's been my home for 10 years basically. We rehearsed a lot when we weren't on tour, and I would walk from Victoria, where I was working, to Waterloo, where we had a rehearsal space, and we'd rehearse until God knows when in the morning, go home, get a couple of hours sleep, go back to work again, go and rehearse again, then take some time off to go and play like club shows over the weekend or go on tour for 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time. But it just didn't matter. Like, I didn't want for anything else at the time. I had a terrible diet, I drank too much, you know, but it was amazing. You know, I got to experience that life of being on tour, going to Europe, went out to Japan, you know, got treated like rock stars everywhere I went, and it was amazing, you know. I just couldn't believe it was happening a lot of the time. And I worked super, super, super hard it was like this goal to get a house here. So we sat in the flat, my humble little flat. It's not much, but it's mine, that I bought with my partner about 6 months ago. I've been with Nick for coming up for 8 years. We got engaged last year in the States. When we first met, I mean, she was the same. We were like partying all the time, you know, staying up from Friday until Sunday and all that kind of stuff. So she's seen that part of me. She's seen me as a musician as well. She's known me when I was still doing session musician work. She's seen me run multiple music venues in London. And she's seen me at my lowest as well, you know, like mega anxious and super depressed as well. The last 6 months in particular have been somewhat of a roller coaster.
So basically I'm in Rome because I decided to find my happiness. I'm from Barcelona. I was working as a journalist, as a sport journalist in the public radio. So they were sending me to a lot of events, to Wimbledon, I was traveling around the world with the Barcelona team. I was doing very, very well. Lot of money, no free time at all. But then at that time, 6 years ago, my priority was the money. Totally wrong. I completely changed, even physically. I'm not the same person I used to be 10 years ago. Obviously now I'm 32. In my family, we have 4 kids. And we are very funny family. We have a lot of people in my family. Aunties, cousins, my grandparents. And in my family, I have the clown role. I'm the person who makes people laugh. And that is such a responsibility because you have to maintain the level. I used to be so happy. I used to be very bubbly. I was not shy at all. I was talking with people. I studied this social work because I really wanted to help with my strength, with my happiness. I wanted to make people happy. But then I had this panic attack. And I didn't have any more light inside.
When did this happen?
This happened, I was 2 weeks after my 18th birthday. So I was studying to become a sign language interpreter. We were preparing this exam. Was nothing major. It was something easy because I used to study for 2 years. I was very keen. I was very, very good interpreter, and no one thought that I could fail the exam, but I failed it. And then it wasn't just exam that I felt. I felt so many things. I felt the perception, I felt on my name, I felt on my reputation, and felt even on my family, that my family was like, yeah, easy peasy, Gemma gonna get it. And Gemma didn't get it. And then how you go home and say, I didn't get it. Because I was the clown one. It's like, come on, Gemma, what was wrong? And then it was so much pressure. I think I put so much pressure on myself.
My name's Jessica, I'm 28 years old. My health has been deteriorating quite significantly over the last couple of years. Lots of it, I guess, mounted through various stresses in life. I just took a massive toll on my body. At the moment, I'm being assessed for chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm constantly unwell, essentially. Constant colds, go from one cold to flu to chest infection. My nickname amongst my family for many years has been the germ, because I'm just constantly ill. And more recently kind of culminated in, I ended up getting pneumonia this winter just passed, and having to go to hospital and everything, and since then I've never really recovered. And all these fatigue issues, it kind of felt like my body was finally saying this is enough. Something's got to give. So I ended up having to give up my job and kind of start making changes in my lifestyle to try and help it, because on top of the other more obvious health issues, I've also been suffering with a form of IBS for the last few years, and again the same thing, like they've tried me on different diets, they've tried me on different medication, nothing helps, nothing seems to really make any difference, and it's really frustrating because I'm 28 years old and I feel like I'm 82 most of the time.
And in that space, your body will start to dig out all of the accumulated stuff, all of the pain, all of the trauma, all of the negative associations you've had with things in your life, all of that tiredness, anything that doesn't really belong in a perfectly... The reason why Jess and I work so hard to get the meditation out there, at least making it visible so that people know that there's something that they can plug into, is because the more you go on the journey yourself, the more you free yourself from your own pain and trauma and fears and dissatisfactions in life, really. The more inspired you become, the more creative, the more energy you have. You start to realise, wow, I used to think that that was it. In actual fact, there's so much more. And I've become much less self-absorbed. I now can empathise so much better with people. My views towards the world and towards people has completely transformed, and whereas previously I wanted the world to be a better place. When push came to shove, I would always put myself first. And that's not really the case anymore.
Come on, Fred. So much undergrowth here. I have my sister-in-law, Karen. She spoke so highly of Will. And Karen, you know, she doesn't go on about people that much, but when she talked about Will, you know, the course, she completely just like shone. And she really said, this is really doing good stuff to me. And I could really tell that there was something, a real quality in her that had sort of been ignited, and the seed began to plant. And at the time I was caring for my husband, when he did pass away, you know, it was quite an easy choice. I thought, I'll just go and see what it's all about. Yeah, which was, because I'd tried so many other things. I'd been, to see a counsellor. I'd been doing lots of things, different things to try and just sort of bring myself back to me. And but it was this quality in Karen that I just felt was really something had changed within her.
If you had to try and give a word to this,
I don't know what it is. It's like she was tapping in. I could tell that when she was talking, she dropped into honest realness, and I think that's the quality that you do get from meditation. You get into your true being, and it was a very real quality that at the time I felt was really nourishing, actually, for me too, because I was surrounded by lots of negative, very sad experiences going on. And, despite that, Karen was able to bring that sort of quality into the home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a record nerd, so like most weekends, if I'm in town, I will walk from my house just around the corner, come through the park, pick up something to eat at the market down here, and then there's about 4 or 5 record stores which kind of empty my bank account on a regular basis. And then after all the music stuff and getting into my real job, I was running music venues. I set up and ran 3. It was amazing people. I was partying up all night all the time and meeting heroes. But I'd burnt the candle at both ends, there's no denying that, and I'd done that since I was about 16 years old. And everything that I did, I wanted it to be amazing. It had to be the best it could possibly be. I suppose the first time I realised I was anxious, or actually I didn't even know I was anxious, I just thought I was having a panic attack or something. I was in New York staying with some friends, this tiny little apartment, and it was like the middle of June and New York gets stupid hot. We'd cooked a dinner, which no one does in New York, but we'd cooked a dinner in this flat and just overheated basically, and then started to feel really panicky or anxious, but I didn't think it was that at the time. I just thought, I'm going mad, like I don't feel like I can be here. And the whole fight or flight thing came in. I thought, I want to go home, I want to get out of this space. And luckily my missus was there with me, and it was like, I went and had a cold shower, but it took me about 2 or 3 hours to kind of come down from this point of like just absolute fear, basically. It shook me up a little bit. It took me a few days, maybe a week or so to get over it. But I read a couple of like self-help things and, you know, learned some breathing techniques and kind of just didn't take it seriously, basically. Just carried on doing what I was doing, working, partying, playing music, whatever it was. So then maybe a year or two later, I went to New Zealand to visit some family. But almost as soon as the plane touched down, I was just scared again. Like that feeling I've had when I was in New York, you know, it's kind of, I couldn't explain it, but I thought I'll get through it with some breathing techniques and tomorrow I'll be fine and I will go to, you know, see my cousin, I'll be by the beach, it'll be fine. But I never got fine. And I ended up cutting the trip short. Kind of really embarrassed, kind of ashamed, and ended up coming home 4 or 5 days into what was meant to be a 2.5 week trip.
But I remember like yesterday, my first panic attack. Like I can feel it. You feel like you're dying. I couldn't breathe. I was paralyzed. The things were like going around like me. And it was just crazy because it was my first time. I didn't know what was that. I laid down in the middle of the classroom. My classmates were like, "What are you doing?" Because I told you I was an important one in the class. I was the first one. I was very popular there. And suddenly I was lying on the floor, just all white. Then I called my mum. I was like, you need to come here. You need to bring me to the hospital. I'm dying. My mum was like, "What are you saying?" It's like, "Just come here now. I'm dying." And then we went to the hospital, and the hospital was like, "No, you're fine. Your daughter is fine. She just had a panic attack." And then since that moment, for the fear of having a panic attack, I stopped doing things. I stopped taking the tube because of fear to have a panic attack on the tube. I stopped taking the bus for fear to have a panic attack in there.
And then September of last year, I just lost it, absolutely lost it. Total meltdown of anxiety. I'd been working too hard, I'd been staying up. I won't list everything that I did in 2015, but I had 2 big American road trips. I got engaged. I put on some of the biggest shows I'd ever put on. I'd opened the 3rd of the 3 venues that we had in our portfolio, if you like. I DJ'd at like 5 or 6 festivals. So I'd taken loads of holiday time, but that holiday time wasn't any relaxation. It was just caning it, you know, like putting my body through the works. Not getting enough sleep, just doing the whole thing. I'm in my 20s, I'm invincible, I'm totally fine. And then just really found out the hard way that I wasn't. So started having much more severe anxiety attacks than I'd had previously in New Zealand or New York. Like far, far more severe, to the point where I was in tears. I couldn't move forwards, couldn't move backwards, couldn't go to work because I was scared I would be panicking at work. Sleep just went out the window. I was having horrendous nightmares every night. You know, I just couldn't leave the house.
So I stopped doing things. I stopped going out. I was staying at home in bed. And for 5-6 years, I was like a plant, doing nothing, just for fear to have panic attack. But the panic attack, I had so many panic attacks, but at home, and I felt safe there because no one could see me.
Because a lot of my health problems are invisible, it's quite difficult for other people to understand a lot of the time. And people can say they understand and they're there like, "Oh yeah, okay," but they don't really get it. They don't understand when you say you're tired and they respond, "Oh yeah, well I'm tired too." So it's not the same. I would give anything to feel how you feel when when you say you're tired. Because that's feeling normal. That's, you know, everyone gets tired from time to time. But going through life feeling utterly exhausted constantly, to the point, as I said, where you can't even think properly.
My problem was I was provoking myself all these strange questions, all these, I was provoking the panic attack itself. Because the first question was where I am, or who I am, why I should fight, why I should fight if I'm going to die anyway, why we are here, if we're going to die, why we're living now, so where's the point to live if I'm going to die? I'm just struggling, I'm just living hell for what? All these questions, they think it's normal that everyone can question at least once in life. But I was going so deep on them that I was hurting myself so bad. And then it's like you're just playing, but then there is no game anymore when you're just hurting yourself so bad.
There's only a limited amount you can actually do for the world when you're not nourished at every level of your being. So stage one really is get your own house in order. You know, dig out most of the weeds in your garden before you start thinking about doing the weeding for all of your neighbours. But the beauty of the meditation is because you're plugging in twice a day, every day, into the source, it helps keep you as an individual organism and entity in balance, and it creates enough of a platform for you to actually go out there and give to the world.
I lost so many kilos on the way, so I was like 45 kilos, so it's like half of me. My hair didn't grow, so I was like always with this hair like this. I was green, my eyes wasn't shining. I lost the sense of smell, so I couldn't even smell. I was going on relationship just to be safe with someone, but not because I loved them. Probably they loved me, but I didn't love them. But I felt safe because I felt with someone was next to me, just grabbing my hand and going through together. My family didn't know anything because I kept for secret all those years. And then we went on holidays. While in London, I flew to Barcelona, and there I started to think very bad things. And then is when I had the first thought about suicide. It was the first time after 10 years that I never thought about it before. I was asking myself why to live for, but I always find a reason to live. The sun is shining, my family, my little niece, always some reason, for small, but always some reason to live for. But that holidays, I was seriously thinking to kill myself. But it wasn't me who was thinking me. It was a voice inside me. And then I started to feel the paranoia. So the anxiety became depression became paranoia. And the paranoia is a tough guy. So anxiety and depression, I could live with. Paranoia you can't live with. Because it's not you. You're just two person. You two people. You Gemma and another one that you don't know. I had the paranoia, and the same time I was like, stop. I need to tell my mum, because if I kill myself, my mum is gonna ask her all her life why, if she was happy. And it was because of I didn't want her to, because I was sure that I would do it. I would kill myself. I was sure, because it was just the natural thing to do. Because I was going worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like maybe next step was to be dead. But I didn't want to put that weight on my mum and dad shoulder to think why. She was happy. She was on holiday with us. But then I tell my mum everything. Like, if something happens to me, you need to know that it's because I've been struggling for so long with that thing, with depression and all the stuff. And my mum she said to me, you're talking about to kill yourself, you just kill me with this, because I can't believe my lovely girl. I'm 32, but for them I'm still a little girl. It's like I can't believe my little girl just been struggling so much, and I didn't even notice as a mom which kind of mom I am. And my dad was like, "What? You're in London. You're happy in London. You have a great job. You have a partner. What's wrong?" So my mum kind of done the farewell. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna see you again. But I did want to go anyway to London. If something happens, I don't want to happen here. I don't want mum to not be able to go home, because it will bring all the memories that Gemma just died here, or Gemma just died there, or Gemma was here when she done this, or Gemma done no. So I wanted to go away, just to free my mum and dad to bad memories. But then I was feeling so guilty to think about killing myself. And then I was researching on Google if it was a positive thing to feel guilty. And it was a positive thing. They say that when you feel guilty, you're not ready to do it. So I was thinking, okay, I got a little bit of time before I'm gonna do it. Let's squeeze this time and try to do something to take all this stuff from my mind. And then when I met Will, that was the time when I met Will. When researching internet about how to cope or how to deal with that paranoia, and then it came the first thing, Williams Meditation. And I gave it a go. I met them in the free talk, and I saw an angel. I can't explain it. I just saw an angel. And then just the name, Will, it just, a will, I can. And then I done it. I done the first meditation. I was like this, meditating with Will, and I just started to cry for half an hour. Will cried with me. He cried with me. He hugged me. I went out. We finished. I went out, and I could smell the rain. And I felt so free. And I felt free. I felt very reborn. It's like, this is my first day of my new life. And that was my first day of my new life. since that day, everything still a battle. Obviously, still very hard. But it's hard when you go running and you push yourself to do it better and better. It's that hard that you do it with pleasure. You do it because you want to become better and do it better. You're not doing it because you're just hurting yourself. No, you want to the best of you. And that's my battle now. My battle. That's my goal now. Just to be better and better and better and better and better. And it takes me so much time in my day because I need to do the massage, I need to meditate, I need to do the yoga. It's a full-time job to keep myself alive. But it's just worth it. And I just feel free. Even with myself, I don't have to say anything to me because everything I do now is because I really want to do it.
I was trying to do exercise, I was trying CBT therapy, I tried group therapy, I tried acupuncture, I tried mindfulness, I tried everything basically. I was never lazy with it, I thought I will beat this, but there were moments of hopelessness because it's just like, I've tried so many things and nothing is working. But I was reading the paper one morning, it's like the 2nd or 3rd of January, and it was things to do in 2016 to feel good. And there was this meditation section. It was like try Vedic meditation. And the first 3 sentences of this article were like, basically, if you feel depressed, tick. If you're anxious, tick. If you aren't sleeping, tick. You know, it was like this article was just speaking to me. You should try Vedic meditation. And from the moment I walked into Will's kind of meditation flat, office, whatever you want to call it, any cynicism went out the window because he's just a normal guy, you know, and we hit it off, you know, we became pals, you know, we became chatty. There was banter there, you know, just like I would have with a mate, you know. One of the things he said to me that's stuck with me the whole way through was, I just want to feel great every day, and I do. And I was like, that's all I want. And it was very obvious that he did feel good every day. And the technique, you know, I got given the mantra and straight away went off and started meditating independently and did the beginner's course and everything. But very quickly, the depression just went, you know. Sleep took a little bit longer and anxiety a little bit longer again to kind of totally filter out. But within 3 to 4 weeks, I was going to see friends by myself, you know, I was seeing people for lunch, you know, stuff that seemed impossible, like I'd never do again.
I think the moment he gave me my mantra, I then did a meditation and I just sort of began to drop into a place that was really familiar, but I hadn't been there for a long time. And so when I opened my eyes for the first time, it was like, oh my gosh, hello. It was like, hello, me again. And that was the first meditation.
It's just the thought of something so simple after all the different things you get pointed towards, all the different medication and all the different, go talk to this person, that person, eat that, don't eat that. Just meditate. Take 20 minutes for yourself. Try not to get my hopes up, but potentially will be amazing.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Me too.
Did I take your favorite flowers?
Or if I did a shift, I'd have to go lie down on the sofas for an hour before I could have enough energy to be able to walk home.
Right.
Because with the IBS stuff, I swell up like extreme, all round and all around my back, to like the point I look like I'm really pregnant.
Yeah.
Someone actually gave up their seat on the bus to me one time, which was mortifying. And I couldn't bring myself to tell them that I wasn't pregnant. So I took their seat. Because of how I was standing and how like rotund it is. And I'm holding it because it hurts and because it's so fast. I just literally, it's like I inflate.
And does that get triggered? Do you know the triggers that set it off?
No, I think it can be stress. And I'm starting to think it is stress.
Invariably is related to stress, yeah.
Start looking at the stress and the source of the stress, and then a technique which you're about to learn, which is going to go right to the source of that, right to your nervous system.
Meditation works in a level that you cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine, because it doesn't even help me just because of the anxiety and depression. Meditation gave me my sense of humor back, the smell back. I sleep like a baby. I used to be a lot of self-conscious about my body. I was embarrassed about my body. I wasn't going to the beach not to show my body. And now I'm not saying that I'm naked all the time, but just, you know what, if you don't like it, go. I was depressed, my big bum. I was like, I'm so like, I'm wrong, mate. And now it's like, I'm just gorgeous, just the way I am, because I am like this. I'm unique, and it's just me. It's like me. Just give me meditation, because before, my boyfriend says, but you know how beautiful you are. I was like, no, I don't know. I don't know how beautiful I am. I feel beautiful inside. I feel like I have this beautiful energy. And that's, for me, meditation gave me this, that I don't really care about the look outside. I really care about how I look inside. Because if you look inside good, people can see you beautiful. The charm, more than, yeah, you're beautiful. You're charming.
As things stand, I think the way my life is mapped out at the moment, I can't ever imagine not meditating. It sits so comfortably in my life, and I feel amazing because of it.
Now it's like breathing. I'm breathing, I'm not even conscious that I'm breathing. I incorporate this to my life, and this is my life now. I meditate because it's just an alarm that it just goes off in my body, that I just go and meditate. It's just the natural thing. It's like I'm going to work because I have to go to work, because my boss is waiting for me at 8 o'clock. It's like my mantra is waiting for me. So I'm going and meditate. Because the feeling after that is so cool. It's like, I never done drugs, so I don't know. But it gives me this high. That's like I'm on the top of the unicorn, just going and happy, and it gives me that thing that's like, I am crazy. Someday I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna jump off of the unicorn. No, please, no, please. So I don't think I'm gonna stop. You know. Now we're planning for a baby, and I'm just looking forward to meditate while pregnant, and to pass all this good energy to the baby, and then meditate with the baby, and make some little meditators. I'm happy. I think we can. It's on us to make a better world. I'm just looking forward for that. I think I'm so ready to pass all these things. Sometimes I feel like before, I was 10 years before, I was feeling empty, like nothing, no heart, no lungs, nothing. It was just, and now just I feel like I got so much energy that I need to pass this to people. Like, oh, take some, because I can't have it so many. And meditating gives me this, like, I'm liberating these things, and having little meditators around me, meditating all together. You just give me like, yeah, so ready. I'm just looking forward.
It's the foundational tool for being able to simultaneously being a happy, healthy, productive, purposeful individual, and bring something meaningful, significant, and potentially game-changing to the world. At this stage of the game, people are either generally tending to concentrate on themselves or the world, but to the exclusion of the other. And that has its own distortionary effects. If you can simultaneously and somewhat spontaneously facilitate the both at the same time, then huge change can happen. And it's quite spontaneous. I never thought that I'd be giving up my entire life to helping teach people, but I have, and it feels kind of good to do so. But we didn't try, we're not trying to be do-gooders. That's the weird thing. I'm doing what I do because it's every day I wake up and this energy flows through me, this inspiration, this spontaneity is there. And so I respond to that because that's what feels most natural to do. And that's what meditation will bring to you, is a very natural and spontaneous, joyful connection with who you are and what it is you need to be doing every day, every week, every month, and every year thereafter. So yes, it's invaluable in helping to serve the whole. You as this little individual, and you as part of the tribe of humanity.
We need to start taking notice of people with mental health issues because it is equally as serious as the physical body. There's still a huge stigma about coming out and saying, I'm anxious, I'm depressed. Mental health is something that people are really, really scared to talk about, embarrassed to talk about, ashamed to talk about, and I was, so I totally get that. All of my friends now know I was quite private about it because I was embarrassed and I was ashamed that I was going through that time and feeling really, really down. I'm kind of now telling everyone in retrospect, and everyone's super supportive. I think the more you talk about these things and the more open you are with your pals, then actually what happens is they've either been there themselves or they've got another friend that has. You know, it's the moment you open up about these things is the moment that it gets easier and you're not alone anymore.
I have come a long way, definitely. You know, my senses began to sort of waken up. So I began to see clearly, you know, everything was sort of murky and it really felt like I had a veil around me. But then it just felt the meditation sort of just began to sharpen the lens.
Yeah, it's really easy to dwell on the fact that I was depressed and anxious and I now feel loads better. But actually I'm finding myself more articulate. I'm finding myself to be more creative. My family and friends think that I'm a softer person to be around. Like when I was working in the music industry, I was quite hard-faced and, you know, quite aggressive, not quite the right word, but my mum described it as like I was a hard person and now I'm a softer person, which, you know, take what you will from that. But almost most importantly for me, I think on the positive side of things, other than just feeling better, is that meditation has really helped my senses to become more heightened. So I've been a music fan since I was like 8 years old when I got the first Oasis record, and I've been hooked on music ever since. And I'm hearing things in records that I've listened to hundreds of times that I never heard before, you know, and when I strum a chord on a guitar, I'm enjoying it more than I ever did before.
Now I feel that all those layers have just sort of been peeled away and I've now gone back to the real me. And I feel completely here, whereas before I'd always feel like I'm sort of somewhere else, sort of, I don't know, way off somewhere. Hadn't really landed here on Earth, so I think it's actually helped me just feel like I've landed.
I can't think of anything I could have done in my life that would have given me as much as this. I've looked, I've observed, I've researched, and for me personally, nothing could come close. It's the one and only thing that I've ever encountered that really does deliver at every level of life and continues to deliver year after year after year after year. And it's pretty damn unique in that regard.
And I'd say it's not just about the surface level benefits of it. For me in particular, it was finding the voice, the internal voice, and having the confidence to speak it. And that also opens up a whole new level of life experience and being able to, the ability to interact with people better, the ability to perceive the world in a different way. It's not just get healthy, have more energy, feel less stressed. Yes, it is that, but it's also, this is a portal to experiencing people and life experiences and your daily existence on a way that can exceed any drug that you can take, because it's sustainable and it allows you to love, it allows you to feel, and that is extremely precious. And that's not to say other things don't do it, but often you would have to create a whole big melting pot of different resources and different holistic things to be able to create that outcome. With this, all you're doing is you're on your own, you're self-sufficient, you're empowered, and you have your sound and you're away. And you are the one that enables, you initiate your own internal change, and that's extraordinary.
That's the most powerful change there is when you're the one who's initiating it.
Yeah.
And I was relatively famous or infamous amongst my family and friends as being someone who lived the life. You know, I did it all, or pretty much it all. And
I was a witness when it's
I was that guy living the dream, doing all the crazy mad shit that nobody else was doing, that was, you know, the stuff that dreams were made of. And, you know, there are other people out there who've done that, but...
As in, like, the rock and roll lifestyle?
Yeah, the rock and roll lifestyle, and just having experience of most of the highly revered type of activities and experiences that are commonly considered to be the high points, the pinnacle of human experience. And this is an order of magnitude cooler than any of that.
It was really interesting, actually. It was just more than I kind of expected. Jess was amazing. She was really accommodating for my needs, my medical needs as well. And it was just, I had quite a physical response to the meditations that I had with Jess and the group, which was exciting. To be able to do it, say, 3 times a week will feel great, and then that will hopefully spur me on to be like, right, let's see if I can get my proper 7 days, let's get it down. And then I'll be able to see the real effects, I think. Like with anything, if you only do something every now and again, it's like any exercise or diet or anything, learning to play an instrument, you do it every so often, you're never gonna really make much progress unless you really commit. But yeah, just keep persevering.
Pushpanjali Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Akanda Mandala Karam Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatparam Darishitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Brahmanandam Param Sukaram Kevalam Gyan Mutim Vishvatitam Gagan Sarvisham Tarpamasyadi Laksham Ekam Nityam Imala Machalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Putam Papatitam Trigunasahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
So yeah, this was my dream guitar, and it's effortless to play, you know, and it just sings as well. And it's a player's guitar, you know. Look at all the dings and, you know, knocks and everything in it. You know, this is from 1968. It's the best part of 50 years old. It's been on the planet a lot longer than I have. It's probably got a lot more stories than I have. Certainly seen some action in its time. You know, every ding, you know, has got a little story that goes with it. Every little mark across the back and, you know, all that kind of thing, and where someone's belt would have rubbed on it and all that kind of stuff. You know, fascinating to think about what it's seen. But, you know, with an old guitar as well, the wood just ages as well, you know, and it sounds better. An acoustic guitar will sound better the older it gets. Providing it's relatively well looked after. And that's that.